Welcome back to our channel, Purposely Rerouted, where we take you along for whatever we're doing in Florida. Although this time we're not going to be in Florida. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany.
I'm David.
We are road tripping to North Carolina. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so we're road tripping to North Carolina to be with family for Thanksgiving. I don't know exactly how much we'll film, but we do have a few plans and just thought that we would bring you guys along with us. We are not even out of Florida yet and already had to stop because I had to pee, and we got some snacks and some breakfast stuff, but it took us a very long time to even get a few miles past our house because there was an accident.
It took an hour to go 5 miles.
Yeah, so that wasn't fun, but now we are smooth sailing on I-4 heading towards Daytona Beach. But this is what we stopped and got. We stopped at Racetrack. I got me a ham and egg croissant. Dave says that these are delicious. And then I got me a snack for a little later, some grapes, cheese, apples, and almonds. And I got some coffee. Well, the consensus is the croissant, the ham and cheese croissant breakfast sandwich was very delicious, but it almost killed me. I don't know how it happened, but I guess I inhaled when I was taking a bite, and a tiny, teeny tiny piece of egg that was in my mouth got sucked up into my nasal cavity, and I felt like I was choking to death. So I almost died. Dave wasn't worried at all.
Well, I'm driving. I mean, I can multitask, but doing CPR and driving, I don't know how that would work.
But yeah, so it was very delicious. I highly recommend. Dave loves Racetrack gas stations. He says that they have the cleanest bathrooms out of all the gas stations in Florida. But besides Buc-ee's has the best bathrooms ever. But if you're gonna stop at a Buc-ee's, you have to set like an hour of time out of your drive time because you're gonna be there a while if you stop at a Buc-ee's. There's the Daytona Racetrack. I don't know if, well, now there's trees in the way, but we just passed it. 7.5 hours to go. We're coming up on the big bridge in Jacksonville. There's, I don't know if you can see it. It's raining. I think it's blurry. It's not focusing. Port's over there. Also on the other side. But we always like this bridge. How's the drive going? Long? You still got 6 hours to go.
I know. Because of traffic. Traffic in the rain makes it long.
Welcome to South Carolina. We stopped at Bojangles, and where are we? Georgia? So we're in Georgia?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. We're in South Carolina. That's right. I got me 3 spicy chicken tenders, the Bojangles fries, and the biscuits. We miss Bojangles so much. We haven't had it since we left North Carolina. So we're excited about this.
I am.
How was your Bojangles?
Turn left.
Right. Ah! Delicioso! I love Bojangles. Chicken Supremes.
then turn right.
Oh yes, our Bojangles was glorious. I sure do miss those seasoned fries so much.
Turn right onto Bells
Bojangles,
Highway.
we miss you. We also call it Bohingules. And I just want y'all to know, this Sunoco here in South Carolina, somewhere in South Carolina, they sell beer every day. Not just some days, but every day they sell beer. That's when you know you in South Carolina. I see the sombrero off in the distance.
Do you?
The sombrero of south of the border. And it's raining. There it is. There it is, folks. South of the border. That means we're leaving South Carolina, crossing over into North Carolina in just a few moments. I bet this is very blurry. I bet this rest stop was the bee's knees back in the day.
It was.
Now it's kind of defunct, but it's still very nostalgic. Very, I don't know what other word I could use.
It's kind of it's historic, really. I used to stop there. My grandparents used to stop there every single summer when we would go to Florida. And then my granddad would disappear into the adult store. I wasn't allowed to go though. I don't know why, but
I can guess why. It's also kind of pretty to see the different leaf colors because we don't see that in Florida anymore. The
no.
leaves just kind of stay green. Sometimes they do fall off the trees, but they don't turn colors before they fall off. They just kind of fall off and wither away and die. So it's kind of pretty to see all the yellows and the reds. Pretty.
Is that the North Carolina sign?
No, that's the rest area sign. Your dad's calling you.
Yeah.
Well, if there was a state announcement that we were crossing over into North Carolina, we didn't see it. So, I'm sorry I could not show it to you.
But it's raining and starting to get dark too, so that we probably missed it.
Possibly. Or maybe North Carolina just doesn't have one on I-95. Maybe North Carolina is just not special enough to have its own, hey, you're in North Carolina announcement. All right, we have had our Thanksgiving festivities with our families, and we are checked into our hotel in Greensboro. This is Homewood Suites. It is right outside of the airport in Greensboro. And we've checked into our room. Just kind of wanted to give you a look at the hotel room. I did book a suite so that we would have a little bit more space to spread out. And it's pretty nice at first glance. I think it'd be a nice place to stay. I think it was $320 some for 2 nights. We're checking out on Saturday and heading back to Florida. But here's a look at Homewood Suites right outside of Greensboro International Airport. This is at 201 Center Point Drive in Greensboro. Dave's at the front door. So when you walk in, you walk into basically the living part of the room. You have a small little table. You have a tiny little living room. Pretty cozy looking. TV stand. Looks more like a dresser, but comfortable enough to sit here and relax for whatever you need relaxing. It's dark outside, so can't really show you the view, But these, we haven't figured this out fully yet. It's like electric. This is what works it, so. But then you have a little kitchen, full kitchen. Hopefully that's not gunshots outside. And I say that because I grew up in Greensboro, but I haven't been here in a very long time, so I don't know how the area is. But yes, full kitchen, fridge, very, very small range top, but you know, big enough. You know, this is the kind of place where you're just gonna basically stay to catch your flight or something like that in between traveling. Tiny little coffee maker, it looks like, with some coffee and tea. Microwave, cabinets, you have a dishwasher, tiny sink, toaster, and I think these are stocked with what you would need for a couple days or a week maybe. Lots of those are empty, but I did book I think this is a handicap room, so because of that you do have a little bit more space, especially in the bathroom. These are double beds. You have a full-length mirror to check your fit, TV, dresser. I don't think there's a balcony.
There's not.
Or anything. I don't even know how these open, but I think it's just a window. Dave's already checked that out. You have a full-size closet and a simple bathroom. Since it's handicap accessible, it's open here for you to fit a wheelchair in there. Vanity, tub, and toilet. Pretty simple, and we're only here for 2 nights.
Yep.
So we're gonna continue getting our stuff out of the truck and probably go to bed because it's pretty late. It's almost midnight. So after staying here one night, we do have to say we're staying here again tonight because we're heading home on Saturday. Today is Friday. And the reason that we got a hotel in Greensboro is I have one son, my oldest son, that lives in Sanford, North Carolina. And then I have another son, my youngest son, that lives in Greensboro, North Carolina. So we are spending time with my youngest son in Greensboro today. And like I said, heading home tomorrow. But here at the Homewood Suites, the beds are comfortable, but we want to be honest with you. Went to go take a shower this morning, and like all the hotels are going to, they're kind of going to full bottle shampoo, conditioner, and body wash, and each hotel has pretty much their own brand that they work with, and they kind of bolt them to the wall, kind of like what Disney does, but a little different. This is, and I don't want to cut the light on in here because it turns the fan on too and it's really loud, but this is a Zero brand. Now luckily I always do bring my own shampoo and conditioner. The shower gel smelled good, was fine, but this shampoo, oh my gosh, there has to be something wrong with it. It smells just like the perm solution. If you've ever been in a hair salon and you see, you know, the little old ladies that get the really tight pin curls and they get their hair permed, it smells like perm solution, like rotten eggs. It stinks. There has to be something wrong with that shampoo. So if you do happen to stay here, bring your own shampoo. The conditioner was fine. It just didn't really have a smell at all, but the shampoo was horrible. And we are having breakfast at one of Dave's favorite establishments, Biscuitville. It has been a very long time since we have been to Biscuitville. Every time we come to North Carolina, this is another one that we have to get because they don't have them in Florida near us. We are just shopping around in Greensboro, killing some time before we meet my son. Did some retail therapy. I did pick up a few things to make some Christmas crafts, so there'll be some Christmas crafting videos coming. And we're gonna ride by some nostalgic places for me.
Oh yeah.
I used to be babysat in that
Arrive
house.
at Peterson Avenue.
Which one?
That white house right there on the corner. Mama Annette's cousin Bonnie used to live there.
Oh yeah.
That's Grandmother Leach's old house.
The green one?
No, that house right there. So that was my grandmother Leach's house. My grandmother Leach was my dad's mother, so my grandmother on my dad's side. And I have very fond memories of that house. Very many Thanksgivings and Christmases spent there with all of my aunts, uncles, cousins, and my dad. And the next house that we're gonna ride by is my Mama Annette's house. She was my grandmother on my mom's side, and that's what I called her, Mama Annette. Her name was Jeanette, and I was very, very close to her growing up. I was a whole lot closer to her than I was my grandmother Leach. Although I was close to both of my grandmothers, I was much closer to my Mama Annette on my mom's side, and we're getting ready to ride by her old house.
Oh, look, look.
Yeah. They're Eagles fans. You have to turn down this street right here. Brandon. We always talked about stealing that street sign because it was called Brandon Street and my son's name is Brandon. I just want to note that we would have never actually stolen the street sign. We would have not done that, but we just would joke about it since it was the same name as my son's. A lot of these houses are old historical houses, so a lot of like younger families have bought these houses and remodeled them and either flipped them or live in them themselves, because this is an historic part of Greensboro. But my Mama Annette's house was this house right here on the corner, and my cousin Josh actually still lives in this house. When my mama passed away, my aunt and uncle purchased it, and this is where he lives now. The house we're riding by next was the house that I grew up in. It was my dad's house, and probably about 2 years ago he sold that house to one of those companies that you can sell your house to, and they go in and kind of flip everything and resell it, kind of like an open door type company. But it is the house that I was born and raised in. I wasn't born in the house, but I was raised in the house. Lived in that house all the way up until I moved to Wilmington, North Carolina in 2003, maybe. But my dad ended up selling this house a couple years ago and moved to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is where he lives now, to be closer to my brother. But yeah, all these streets were my stomping grounds. Out in the boonies. This area is actually called Brown Summit, but no one ever knows where Brown Summit is. It's one of those little bitty towns where if you throw a rock, you are crossed over into Greensboro, North Carolina. So I always just tell everybody I was born and raised in Greensboro, North Carolina, because nobody ever knows where Brown Summit is. But his house is right up here on the right. It's one house past this church that you can see. And it's that little house with the red windmill in the front. That is the house that I grew up in. Dave and I stayed there for many a holiday
Mm-hmm.
before he's...
That's where we spent our first holidays together.
Yes. I think next we're going to ride by my old high school. I don't think Dave's ever seen my old high school before. This is my old high school. Northeast High School. Our mascot was a ram. Northeast Rams. Sure looks like a whole lot, don't it?
Doesn't look big.
It wasn't. I lived out in the boonies. In the country. Yeah, I was in high school in the 1980s. And I was what you would call a hoodlum in high school. With my big hair and my black boots up to my knees.
Late 80s.
Yeah.
Loving me was all you tried when you were around. I've been told too many times now.
We are stopping at the Florida Welcome Center to get ourselves some free orange
Fresh.
juice.
Free, fresh, orange
Freshly
juice.
squeezed.
Look at all the doggies.
Oh, look at the doggies. This rest stop is always so busy.
So good.
And just like that, we are back home and back in Florida. It was a quick trip to North Carolina, but we had a really good time with family.
Not long enough. Kind of wish we could have seen family a little bit longer, but it is what it is, especially when the drive is anywhere between 10 and 12 hours, depending upon traffic.
Yeah, I think it took us how long to get there?
Almost 12,
And about 10 to get back.
11,
Yeah.
almost 11, a little over 10.
Yes, so a really nice nostalgic trip. Got to see a lot of places that I haven't seen in a while, and we hope you enjoyed coming along with us. We enjoyed bringing you along, and if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment,
Hit the bell.
and we'll see you in the next one.
Later!
Bye.